Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jackie. I hope you hit that subscribe button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Hello friends, welcome to my November TBR. I'm not doing anything special to pick out my November TBR. I am quite busy this month. I am preparing for December content and I have a lot of other things that I'm working on. So I just decided to pick books that will not be too much of a strain on me. I say that, but these are like massive books that I have here next to me. So I just went with what I wanted to read this month, what I was in the mood for. I just selected it and I'm going to show you now. So a lot is carrying on from October. So I have a few books that I didn't get to in my October TBR. I mean, I did read 21 books last month, which I'll link that video down below. I can't believe I read 21 books. Watch me read like 25 this month. No, I cannot do that. I'm too busy to read 25 books, but I do want to read quite a bit. I have two trilogies, a very thick book, another fantasy series that I want to start, and a few romance Kindle books in there as well. I'm definitely not going to hold up the books until the very end because I know they're going to topple over because these are quite thick books. So without me babbling enough about it, let me just talk you through all the books that I plan to read in November and hopefully get to. The first book on my November TBR is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. So I was meant to read this last month. I put it in my October TBR, but unfortunately I didn't get to it. So this is the first book that I'm reading in November. This is the second book in the Maple Hills series. I think that's what it's called because up here it says a Maple Hill novel. So this is the second book. The first book, Icebreaker, I read it the first of the year, loved it, loved the story of that. So I really wanted to read this one, continue on with the series. So Russ and Aurora, this is their story. So Russ is a hockey player. He plays with the guy from the first book. They're in a college hockey team together and it's the end of the year party. So they go to it, you know, college parties, and he has a one-night stand with Aurora and they don't know that they're going to the same summer camp together. So they're like camp counselors and it just sounds really cool. I mean, I don't know if I really want to read a summer book in November, but I'm going to because it sounds interesting. So can't wait to pick this up. It's going to be my first read. The next book in my November TBR is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I'm so excited to be picking this up again. This was my book club pick, but unfortunately we are not going to be reading this anymore. A lot of my book club members, we have a book club here in my apartment complex, and the other members got so busy. They have kids, husbands to take care of, life gets in the way. So we're picking another book, but we are free to read this on our own. So since I'm not busy, I'm going to be reading this. I think I'm on chapter 23. I'm halfway through this book. We were meant to read half, discuss, and then finish the rest. So that was how we were going to do it, and unfortunately we can't do that anymore. So I'm going to begin reading this. I read it back in August, so I'm going to maybe read the audiobook for the first half of the book again and then read the second half as well. So I'm really excited to get back into this. I hear so many good things. It's such a good series, I hear, and I really want to finish this series next year because I hear there might be another book coming out, and I did really like this, so can't wait to pick that up again and start reading it. Speaking of books that I started reading but stopped, is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So I picked this up in October, the middle of October. My camera lens unfortunately broke, so I couldn't continue on with the reading vlog, and I was doing a reading vlog for it. I didn't want to stop that, so I unfortunately had to stop the series halfway through. So I didn't get through it in October, but I'm going to continue it this month. This is really good so far. I'm loving it. I will give my full thoughts in that reading vlog because I'm continuing it now that I have my camera lens. I got a replacement. It works perfectly. So I can't wait to pick this up again. So we have Caraval, going to read Legendary right after that, and lastly Finale. So I'm reading the whole Caraval series. I'm not going to break it up. I want to know the whole series because I want to get into the spin-off series, which I also am adding to my November TBR. So we have those 3 books, and then next to it we have the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I want to start it right afterwards, or I might like add in a few books in between the series, but I want to tackle it again. I feel like this is the perfect time of year to read these kind of books. Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and A Curse for True Love. So I'm going to tackle those as well as that. So I have 2 trilogy series on my TBR. So that's already 6 books right there, and I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. Wish me luck. Next book on my TBR is very anticipated for me. I have been wanting it ever since I finished the first book, and I'm filming this November TBR a little late because I had to wait for this book, and it is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarrow. So this is the second book to Fourth Wing, and I had to go pick it up immediately. I went to my Target, bought it. I am starting a reading vlog on it, so you'll be seeing that as well. But I already read the first chapter, and I really want to continue reading this. I am so excited because I just want to know what happens, and I want to like read it before any spoilers or anything. So I've been reading it slowly but surely with my other books. So I've been picking up like a chapter here, a chapter there, even though all I want to do is sit down and like read it. So I miss the dragons in this. I miss Violet and Xaden, and I want to hear everything about this book. I'm totally excited to read this month. I am going to continue on with it, and I'll let you know my thoughts in my reading vlog because this needs to have a separate reading vlog. If I couldn't get enough of that genre, I'm adding Powerless by Lauren Roberts to my November TBR. So I'm super excited for this. I got it a few weeks ago and I've been dying to read it, but I just have so many books that I need to get through. I'm like, do I have enough time to read it? But I'm adding it to the November TBR. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. But I hear it's like amazing. Everyone highly recommends it. It's like a great fantasy series, and like I'm excited about it. So hopefully I can get to it and we can read it together. I don't know if this is going to be in like a reading vlog or if I'm just gonna read it alone. Who knows yet, but it's on my November TBR. If I get to it, I get to it. Stay tuned for my November reading wrap up if it's in there. The next book that I'm featuring is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. So I know the second book or like another book in this like series, or if this is a series, is coming out in November as well, but I haven't read this like a lot of people. So I'm excited for like a cozy fantasy. I don't think I've read many cozy fantasies. A lot of these are like high stakes fantasy, if I'm getting my terminology from Book Talk correctly. So this is just cozy and cute, and I feel like after all this like high fantasy, I should like calm down and read this one that's super cute. Moving on to the last physical books on my TBR for November before we move on to my Kindle Unlimited TBR. Since I featured so many fantasy books this month, I thought I would break it up and add some romance books. I mean, a lot of these fantasies do have romance, but this is just purely romance. So I am doing the A through Z challenge by myself. Like, I need to read books that are like the whole alphabet. I'm doing that sort of thing on my own. So I need books that start with P and Y, and these two are perfect. So I have 2 Abby Jimenez books, Part of Your World and Yours Truly, and I don't know much about them. I heard great things though, that they're great romance books. I really want to read Yours Truly because I hear this like a medicine or like a medical thing because she's a doctor. So I don't know much about this, but I do know a teeny bit about this if I am correct. So I love medical TV shows. I think I've watched all the popular ones. I've watched so many indie ones. I don't know why I love medical TV shows. They're just my thing, my favorite genre of TV show. And I never read a book about that. So I thought, you know what, let's try that. So on the back it does, yeah, she is a doctor. So I need to read the first book to get to this one. But I really am excited to read both of them. And if I can like combine my love for medical TV shows in a book, why not? I've never like thought about reading it in book form since I love it so much in like TV show form. So I have those two books. Hopefully I can get to them. If I don't, they'll just be on my physical TBR, and I'll put them on a TBR in the next couple of months. I want to get to these though, so if I need a break from fantasy, this is like the perfect filler for that. Now I have my Kindle right here, so a lot of these books I do have on my Kindle as well. So sometimes I read the physical book, and then some nights I just want to get cozy here in bed and like be a gremlin and like under the covers and with no light, and I'll just read off of my Kindle. So I have a few Kindle Unlimited books that I still would like to read as like filler as well to the physical TBR. So I have a list on my phone, and I'm just going to share with you all the books. So the first book on my Kindle Unlimited TBR for the month is After the Storm by Laura Pavlov. It is really exciting. I believe this might be the last book in the Cottonwood Cove series. I might be wrong, but I think it is. So there's like 5 siblings, the Reynolds siblings, and all of them got a story. So After the Storm, I think, is the oldest brother. He is a veterinarian, single dad, and I've been reading about him like since the beginning. He's been featured in like the other books, and I'm just excited for him to see his story. I think it might be Second Chance. I don't really know much about this book, but I'm just looking forward to it, and I love like his banter with the animals since he is a vet, and like the text messages to his siblings and their sibling group chat. If you've read the series, you know what I'm talking about, but it's just so fun. So I can't wait to see more of that in his own book. So can't wait for that. It's coming out the middle of November, so I have a while before I have to tackle that, but hopefully I can read it. And then we have the next book in the Wild series. I think that is what it's called. It's called Wild at Heart. It is the second book after The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I loved the first book so much. I read it in one sitting. It was just an amazing book. I like did not go to bed. I just binged that whole book. It was so good. And actually I just started a new TV show called Sky Med. It just popped up on my Paramount Plus one day, and I'm like, huh, another medical TV show. I told you I'm all about the medical TV shows, so like it was another one, and this kind of reminds me of The Simple Wild and stuff like that, except it takes place in Canada, and they're like flight nurses, and like they have to like there's pilots who fly through like the like harsh like winters of Canada because they're really bad out there. And it kind of reminds me of that. Even though The Simple Wild takes place in Alaska, it's kind of like similar in my eyes. It's like TV show form of that book. So I really want to get to the second book. I hear it's a continuation of the characters from the first, so it's not like different characters. It's like literally a continuation, which I haven't seen and read many books this year that are like that. Usually if I start next book in the series, it features different characters from the same universe, but this one I think follows the 2 main characters in The Simple Wild. So looking forward to that. Definitely going to read that while watching this new TV show. Like, I am obsessed with it. And it looks like there's only one last book on my Kindle TBR, and it is again another continuing, or the second book in the series. This is Scarred by Emily McIntyre. So I am excited to get to this. I love the Never After series. Hooked was so good, and that inspired a rewatch of Once Upon a Time, and I forgot how good Once Upon a Time is. Like the first 6 seasons, amazing. Like the fantasy of it. I'm just in my fantasy era, TV show wise, book wise. Just it made me want to watch it made me want to rewatch Once Upon a Time, which I did. I finished, unfortunately. So yeah, I really want to read Scarred. I hear it's the Lion King retelling, reimagining, whatever it's called. But I can't wait. I really want to pick up this series. I didn't get a chance last month, so this month I am going to. So yay, that is the last book on my Kindle TBR and all the books that I want to read on my Kindle for November. And I believe that is it for all the books that I want to tackle in November. Will I get to read any of these? Who knows? I do have ones that I really want to prioritize, so you'll just have to come back for my November reading wrap up to see which ones I prioritized and got to. Hopefully I can read all of these. I think, counting on my list, there are 15 books on my TBR. Which am I going to get to? I don't know, but we'll just see. I think this is fun. I usually stick to a TBR. Yes, I am weird. I am the kind of person who can actually stick to a TBR because I pick books that I kind of want to read for the month, and sometimes I divert from it. And like I'll pick up an additional book, like what I did in October. I had a physical TBR. I read majority of it, but I snuck in some different reads in there. So I'm that kind of person, which probably you think is weird because a lot of people never stick to their TBR, but I stick to it quite good, if I'm honest. Water break since I've been talking so much. And there you have it. That is everything that I want to read in November. I'm super excited for these books. Please let me know what you want to read in November. If any of these books are on your TBR as well. I know Iron Flame might be, but let me know if others are as well. I will link all the books that I mentioned down below and all the details, as well as my social medias. I have Book Talk and Bookstagram, Instagram, and TikTok. They'll be linked down below. And that is it for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed watching me talk about books. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone! Can I do it? I did it! Thank you for the applause, Taylor. Can I lift this stack? No, no, no. Yeah, I knew that it would fall.